I'm back. Oh my gosh. How are you guys? Happy Memorial Day. I hope you all had an amazing Memorial Day weekend. I am back after a little 2-week hiatus. I was on a vacation, so I am back. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Jackie Baker. This is your live weekly dose of real estate reality where we talk about all things real estate, housing market, all that fun stuff. So thank you all for joining me. Again, I know I was away for the last couple of weeks. I'm back though. So yes, I'm so happy, so excited to be back here with you guys and talking about all things, about this housing market because, we always got a lot to talk about every week when it comes to the housing market. So, a couple of things before I get started. Number one, I put a poll. You'll see that in the chat. I want to know, do you think the housing market is going to crash this year? Because what I'm going to be talking about tonight, several articles have come out. We're talking Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. They're all saying that they're anticipating prices to start coming down for the remainder of this year. We're going to dive into that. We're going to talk about it. Is this going to be a crash or is this going to be a correction? We shall see. You know my thoughts on this one, but I'll get into that in a little bit. The other thing I want to mention is I want to hear your housing wins. I bring this up every week because we're all discouraged. A lot of people are discouraged about finding a house in this crazy housing market. Now, depending on where you are in the country, some markets are starting to shift over to a buyer's market, others are not. Some are still really crazy and it's challenging to find a home. So I want to hear, have you recently gone under contract? Have you closed on a home? You get an offer accepted. I want to hear about it. And I want to celebrate it. Let's celebrate those housing wins. So please go into chat. Tell me what happened. Did you get a house? I want to hear about it and let's celebrate it. So I am flying solo tonight by myself, and I'm like really by myself because my producer Jen G, she's entitled to a little break. She was away for the Memorial Day weekend, and she's just coming back tonight. So I gave her the night off. So anyway, so bear with me. I'm going to be putting all the comments up. It's been a while. I've been away for, like I said, 2 weeks. Oh my God. It's been I can't believe it's been that long. I've missed you guys. I'm excited to be back and to have the conversations with you about this, the never-ending discussion of our housing market. So, anyway, so I hope everybody had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. And I want to start off by saying, thank you to all of the servicemen, those who have served, and unfortunately those who we've lost, in wars and, all the things, people who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. So I wanted to take a minute to recognize that. And this is the reason why we are celebrating Memorial Day, right? So I just wanted to mention that. But I'm just so excited to be back. And the chat is lively already. You guys are amazing. So I just want to say hi to some of you guys. Mrs. H, oh my God, I missed you too. I missed you too. Thank you for coming back. This is awesome. 90, how are you? 90 thinks there might be a correction, not a full-on crash, maybe next year, early 27, if the economy keeps going downhill. We shall see, 90. We shall see. So, all right, let's get into this. The first article I want to bring up, we're going to talk about, it's from Housing Wire. Now, I like Housing Wire. I think they're a good source. I like to read up on what they're always talking about. So, Housing Wire, I hope you all can see that. Home prices expected to dip as supply and demand collide. Now, this is they're pulling data from Redfin. They said Redfin saying an expected pullback by the end of 2025 marks a sharp reversal from more than a decade of mostly rising prices. Now, for those of you who've been trying to buy a house, this is good news, right? So, what does this say? Now, U.S. home prices are projected to flatten in the third quarter and decline 1% year over year by the fourth quarter 2025. This is according to a new report from Redfin. The company also expects mortgage rates to remain elevated near 7% through the end of the year. This marks a sharp reversal from more than a decade of mostly rising prices, except for a brief dip in 2023. Home prices have increased on a yearly basis since 2012, driven by a prolonged seller's market. Inventory grows, sales shrink. Redfin said cooler prices stem from a widening gap between supply and demand. Existing home sales dropped 1.1% in April compared to a year earlier to reach a 6-month low. The homes that sold took a median of 40 days, 5 days longer than a year ago. Meanwhile, the total number of homes for sale surged 16.7% to a 5-year high, with new listings up 8.6% during the year. The housing market has struggled since mortgage rates began climbing in early 2022, and recent economic uncertainty. I'm sorry. And recent economic uncertainty has further slowed buyer activity. Redfin economists expect prices to decline nationwide for two main reasons: negotiated discounts. Buyers are negotiating prices down, especially for homes that need work or are located in less desirable areas. Lower list price. Lower list price. As homes sit on the market, sellers are more likely to cut prices or list below comparable properties to attract offers. Redfin agents recommend buyers target homes that have lingered on the market. These are often ripe for negotiation, including price reductions or seller concessions like rate buy downs or repair credits. Nearly half of current sellers are offering concessions just shy of record highs. A lot of the people selling right now bought in 2021 or 2022 when home prices were near their height. This is from a Redfin Premier Agent, North Carolina. Even though we advise them to list at today's market value, a lot of them decide to list high to recoup their money. But those sellers face reality once their home has been sitting for a couple of weeks without any offers. Although a 1% dip in prices won't radically change affordability, it could help some buyers. Combined with steady wage growth of about 4%, housing is expected to become slightly more affordable. Still, Redfin cautions that waiting for a price drop may not be worth it. We know there's room to negotiate right now, so that's the best way to take advantage of the changing market. And the sooner you buy, the sooner you start to build equity. Contract cancellations spike. Redfin also reported that approximately 56,000 U.S. home purchase agreements were canceled in April, or 14.3% of homes that went under contract that month. That's the second highest rate for the month of April since 2017, just behind April 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Cancellations are rising as buyers face sticker shock, economic anxiety, and an abundance of options. With inventory at a 5-year high, many are confident they'll find better homes later. Redfin agents said buyers should consider submitting backup offers if they lose a bidding war. 2 of my buyers have won deals this way, where the previous buyer canceled and then wrote an offer before the home was even back on the market and the seller accepted. It's a tactic that has been working really well. So this, I mean, we've been talking about this, right? I've been talking about this for the past, I don't know what, couple of months, and it's continuing. And in some of the markets like Texas, Florida, Arizona, they're definitely seeing the softening of the market, and so those buyers are able to take advantage and have more leverage because of the rising inventory. And as the comment or they mentioned there about the contracts being canceled, we're even seeing that a lot here in New Jersey. Here's an example. We just listed a home, my team and I, we just listed a home while I was away, like 2 weeks ago. And sure enough, let me just kill this right here. The first offer we got, they ended up turning around, backing out the next day. They got a little freaked out. They were a cash buyer, and I guess they were kind of freaking out about laying out all their cash. And look, I understand that because we don't know what the future holds with this economy. And I think that's what's weighing on everybody right now. So it is happening here in New Jersey. Not a lot, but it's happening. But in other parts of the country, yeah, there's more homes to choose from, and people are just saying, you know what, there's other houses to choose from, and we're just going to wait for another one to come along. So the trend is moving along, guys. Now, do I think this is going to crash? I think this is a correction. You guys tell me what you think, if you feel this is going to crash. I'm curious to see what the poll is going to say at the end of this. But really, I think the correction is here, and I think it's a good thing. I've been saying this, I work with a lot of buyers, and it's very challenging, as we all know. It's been so challenging for everybody. But listen, don't look at this as the world's ending. It's going to be, 1%. They're saying prices are going to decline by like 1%. It's not a huge amount, but it's a positive sign in the right direction that, hopefully more people will be able to afford homes. Now, the thing is the mortgage rates. They're saying that they're going to remain elevated close to 7% for the remainder of the year. I think this is something for now we have to get used to this. And I've been saying for the past few years, I think once we get below 6%, that would be enough to motivate more sellers to get off the fence and list their home, because especially those who have interest rates low, 4% or below, I think 5% in that range is going to be the magic number to get those people to sell. But what I thought was interesting in that article too, they're talking about most of the homes that are being sold right now were purchased in 2021 and 22, just a mere 3-4 years ago. And now these people are selling and they're hoping to recoup, they want to get the money that they were hoping they could sell it for the same as what they purchased for, if not more. So I think that's where you're seeing a lot of these price reductions happen, because these sellers are hoping to recoup that money, and that's not the case. The market has changed. So it's important that you speak with a real estate agent that knows that market, and you listen to that real estate agent. Then listen to what they're telling you of where your home should be priced. My partner had just spoke with somebody recently. The person reached out to our team, interested in selling a home, and it's currently on the market. And they said, why isn't it selling? Because you're overpriced. That's the number one reason why a home isn't going to sell. So if you're thinking about selling a home, you got to price it accordingly. You have to just don't go with what you think it's worth or what you paid for. If you paid $1 million for it 3 years ago, it may not be worth that right now. You're going to have to come to terms with that. So that's my thought on that. And I have a lot more to talk about on this one. I have a couple other articles to go into, but let me just go in. Oh my God. Again, bear with me, guys. I don't have my girl with me. I don't have my producer here. So I have to, it's up to me. Okay. What do we have here? Here we go. Chasing sleep. Market correction may be that the government will never let the housing market crash, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't think they want to see that happen again, but who knows? CLGC4. We just got our offer accepted on our first home purchase in Ontario. Saw the listing 9 a.m., toured at 5, had our offer accepted by 5 p.m. the next day. Congratulations. I love hearing that. Good for you. Great. Hey, Michael. Yeah, I had a great weekend. Thank you so much. Hope you did as well. Michael is checking in from Mesa, Arizona. Got some new people here in the chat. I love this. Well, incomes are being lost in the private sector in certain areas, so it's hard to say what exactly will happen. Oh, I know. Private equity will buy it up. Listen, I know that's a fear, and yes, that is still happening these days. There is that fear of the private equity, the private investors. I don't know if you remember a couple weeks ago, I think it was the last live stream I did before I went away. New York is trying to implement a new law stating that investors they can't put offers on the homes within the first, I want to say it's like within the first 30 days. It can go on the open market, but investors cannot be bidding on it. It has to be, they want the average American Joe to be able to buy the house. So New York is trying to put that law in place. I got to follow up on that again and see whatever happened with that, if that has gone through. But that's something that they are considering, which I think is great. I hope that's become something like on the federal level. I know we don't want government involved, but we got to do something about these private equity companies, because it's still a thing. It's still happening, and it needs to stop. So hello, Charlton. I'm in Pennsylvania. My insurance policy went up 60%. Tried to get a new policy. Quotes were up 100%. Do you think policies will keep climbing? I'm not an insurance expert, Charlton, but what I would tell you, yeah, you're going to have to expect this. Insurance is going to continue to rise. Like the more we have these storms, these wildfires, all these things that are going on, that's affecting homes. That's, that can cause damage to homes. Um, they're going to continue to rise. We just got our bill too. Our insurance is going up. I think 17% or something like that. They're going to continue to rise. I hate to say that, but I don't know what can be done for that. But let me see. Hello, Robin. Homes for sale in our area have gone a little over 3%. All right, cool. Thanks for sharing that. Mrs. H, it's scary to try and buy with the way everything is going, either at the end of the year or early next. But if rates are going down, will that even help still when so little to buy? Your thoughts? Okay, so you want my thoughts. If the inventory is still low and the rates come back down, and that's going to bring more demand back into the market, prices are going to go back up. That's what happened in the pandemic when those rates dropped below 4%. Everybody got into the market when we already had a huge buyer demand with our millennial buyers. They were the largest, those are the largest pool of buyers at that time, and they still are. So yeah, you are right there. It could drive prices up. Could it drive them up the way as high as they've gone the past few years? I'm hoping not. I think people are waking up to this and they don't want to overspend. I have buyers I've been working with for a while and they don't want to overspend. Totally understand that. If you guys are watching from New Jersey, the New Jersey housing market is still absolutely bonkers. I mean, like a house we just listed, we had 9 offers in 3 days and we were under contract, I think like by day 6. So it's still crazy here. Although I am seeing a little bit of signs of hope here in my town alone. I was checking the multiple listing the other day, and I'm seeing some homes sitting that I thought were going to sell. They're still on the market. I don't know. Maybe this is a sign, or, it could be just a normal summer slump that we're falling into right now. I shouldn't say slump. I should say summer slowdown. Because typically once we hit Memorial Day weekend, which is now, and the weekend after, right? So by next weekend, it's when we see a big slowdown in the market. Now, I'm not saying that your home will never sell. It'll sell for the right price, but the buyer demand just dies off a lot in the summer months. So, yeah, so I hope that answered your question, Mrs. H. You are right, though. I mean, your thinking is correct that if the rates come down, definitely we'll definitely have more buyers. Someday Defect, how are you? A lot of homes around me in Colorado hitting the market, but about 50,000 lower than before. They are under contract in just a few days. Even the 3.5 million anomaly a block over. Welcome back. Thank you. I'm happy to be back. Well, that's good. That makes me happy to see that. So you have some realistic sellers out in the Colorado market. The market is definitely changing, guys, and you got to be on top of it. So if you're thinking about selling right now, you just listen to the market. Like you have to watch to see what exactly is going on right now, because the buyers the buyers determine what the value of your home is. I hate to say that, but Ray, how are you? Why do people think 50 to 150% increase in 2021 was natural market activity, but a 30% drop is not possible? Listen, I hear you. But the thing is, because a 30% drop, is it possible? Of course, anything is possible, right? If we have a major economic disaster, like we've had in the past, I don't want to go there, but the great financial crisis, something like that happen again, absolutely, we would see a 30% price drop. But the thing is, right now, what's going on because of the low inventory and the demand, you're not going to see a drop of 30%, not with the current conditions, how the current conditions are right now. That is my thought on that. Hey, Robin, would you recommend putting our home on the market this year or next? Should we wait longer? Robin, I can't answer that for you. You have to look at your situation and see what's best. If you have to sell, if you need the money for whatever reason or you need to make a move, then absolutely. The best time to sell is the best time for you, right? So if you find this is the time for you to to want to downsize, you want to upgrade, then that's the best time for you. You can't you can't rely on the market so much. I mean, you can, but you can't like wait for things to happen. If you need to sell, you need to buy. If it's all about it's affecting your personal life, your life situation, then yeah, then you have to make a move. You have to do that. Um, let me see. Uh Here we go. Hey, 90, where have you been? I haven't seen you in so long. It's so good to see you. There were some price drops, but the homes, no, your 90s in Vegas, the homes are so overvalued. Plus, our local economy is getting bad quickly. Doesn't bode well for my city. I'm really sorry to hear that about what's going on in Vegas. But you're right. Those markets that are overvalued, like Texas and Florida, especially, those were the ones where the prices shot up tremendously during the pandemic because everybody left wherever they were to go to warmer climates, greener pastures. They thought things were going to be better in those areas. And look what happened. And I just heard, I forget where it was, where I read it, but a lot of tech jobs are leaving Texas. So a lot of people are moving out of Texas right now. Florida, the situation in Florida. People are leaving because it's getting too expensive. And yeah, so I think those markets you're going to see the prices come down even more so. 30%, I don't think so. I could be wrong about that. But you know, you never know. So let me see here. Let me go back. I just want to pull this back up again because they talk about, okay, hope you all can see this. Okay, here we go. So going back to those cancellation rates. So Florida is home to 5 of the top 10 metro areas of the highest cancellation rates in April. Now, why? Because Florida's got a ton of inventory right now, and especially in the condo market. So I'm not surprised that that number is that high, that they're in the top 5 because of that. There's just too many homes to choose from in Florida right now. Um, and they're building homes. It says here states like Florida and Texas have been building more homes than anywhere else in the country. Buyers in these locations may feel empowered to walk away, knowing they'll likely find other suitable options. Uh, Florida, in particular, faces added pressure from rising homeowner association fees, insurance costs, and frequent natural disasters. So there. I mean, I say this every week and I apologize because I feel like I sound like a broken record, but it's the same thing every week. But the good news is if you were in these markets, you now have leverage as a buyer, right? If you want to negotiate home inspection items, you find there's there are things wrong with the home, go for it. Ask for a credit, ask for repairs. You have that leverage. So why not? Here in Jersey, we can't do that yet. We're not there yet. People are still, dare I say it, we're still doing appraisal waivers. Inspections, I have not seen buyers waive inspections. They're limiting it. Oh my God, I can't talk. Sorry. They're limiting inspections, okay? Limiting to look for structural, environmental, mechanical problems. That's it. That's what we're doing here in New Jersey. But that may change. Are we going to become like Florida? I don't think so. But people, they're not waiving the inspections like they were back in the beginning of the pandemic. Let me see here. Kaylee, I want to buy a condo townhome. I can't afford a house when it's costing $1 million plus. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong to buying a condo or townhome to have as your first home to start building equity. And if that's what you can afford, that's okay. That is okay. So don't worry about that. Is it Michelle or Michael? I hope I'm saying it right. We're under contract finally after losing 5 offers. We're in Michigan and buying at 422 with FHA, way lower interest rate and PMI than conventional. So excited. Congratulations. That's awesome. 5 offers. I know. Listen, I've had people that have bid on like 9, 10, 11 houses before they finally got their home. So you're doing good. So check back. I want to know when you close. I want to hear that you've closed on that home. Um, let me see. Okay. Robin says, I don't think interest rates will decrease. Recently, the percentage has increased. Yes. Yes. It does. So they're saying that the rates are going to hover around 7%. Now, before you come at me, don't come at me for saying this, but look, these rates aren't terrible. It's just people still see the sticker shock or feel the sticker shock because they were at 4% or lower just a mere, 3, 4 years ago. So I understand that. I understand why you're like, oh my God, 6, 7%. And it's expensive. Totally understand that. But if you look back into the '80s, I know you're probably like, "Oh, I don't wanna hear it." It's people saying that an 18% interest rate. They did. They did. When I bought my first house, I think my first interest rate was like 6%, and that was back in 1998. So and I know home prices were lower then, I get that, but, it's not all I don't wanna sound like, "Oh, get over it, it's really not that bad." But I think that we're like looking at a new normal for now. I think, the 6 to 7%, 6% range, I think we're gonna be here for a while, guys, and we're just gonna have to embrace it. Um, MH, how are you? Feels like a Sunday. Yes, it does. I know these long weekends, they kill you, right? They kill me. Shane, Atlanta area agent here. Yes, we are epicenter of cancellation. So frustrating. Don't see a turnaround in near sight. Yeah, if you guys know, Clark, um, Devon Clark the realtor, he's on here a lot. He's in the Atlanta market, and he's been sharing a lot lately how, the Atlanta market's definitely been, they've been seeing a turnaround for sure. They're down we say a slowdown. Um, hold on one second. You guys, this is crazy. This is crazy. Um Bear with. They said I don't got my producer here. Let's see. Okay, Kaylee, I'm new here. I didn't know you did lives. You recently came on my YouTube feed because I'm always looking for condos, townhomes, and watching this one couple do videos in cities in the OC in California. Well, thanks for being here, Kaylee. I'm glad you're here. I hope you get value out of this. MH in Denver, the city has 60 days of right of first refusal on properties with more than 5 units. So that's interesting. All right. Right. There will be no housing shortage if 30% of the homes owned for passive income were back on the market for ownership. I, you know, I don't know if it would affect the shortage by that much. I really don't. And I will tell you though, there was also this discussion about people bought properties to use as Airbnbs, and then there was talking about they were talking about this big Airbnb crash because people were getting away from using Airbnbs, because the fees were just so expensive. They figured, well, I'll just go stay in a hotel. Why go stay in somebody's house and pay all those exorbitant fees? But even with those Airbnbs selling, it really hasn't made much of a dent. So not really. I don't know how much that would affect it. In one of your videos, you talk about having a good inspector when you buy a house. How do you go about finding a good inspector? That's an excellent question. First of all, you're going to talk to your real estate agent. Real estate agents are going to provide you names of home inspectors, and they're typically are ones that they have used in the past. But what I also recommend is talk to somebody who's recently bought a home and get recommendations from them on which home inspector that they used, and get feedback that way. You can always look for reviews, look for Google reviews, look on Yelp. those places to see just how good that home inspector is. But the first place you're going to go to is your real estate agent. Will be able to get you connected with a few. You should talk to at least 3 home inspectors, and again, check the reviews. And you know what? Even ask to speak to clients that they helped in the past to see what's hold on one second. Sorry. Um talk to their past clients, the home inspector's past clients, just to get their feedback. Um all right. Jojo, I'm new to your channel, just to say thank you for sharing your knowledge. Saying that I live in the Bay Area and the housing market here is insane. Can't afford anything here. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, Bay Area, what is going on? I thought that was gonna slow down, but it's not. It's not. Um, oh my. I have a super chat here. Bear with me. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for this. And I can't pull it up. Hold on. Um, thank you for the super chat. House needs repairs and clean out and will not qualify for any type of loan. Must be money. Property is a first look property. No investor offers 30 days. Zero. I'm not sure if I'm having a hard time. I'm so sorry about this. I can't understand what you're asking. House needs repairs and clean out and will not qualify for any type of loan. Must be cash transaction. Property is a first look property. No investor offers 30 days. Zero offers accepted until 7 days on the market. Solutions to buy with 20% cash in hand. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to understand what you're asking here. So you're gonna have to buy that with cash, I'm assuming, right? Because you're saying it must be cash to transaction, properties first look, no investor offers. Um, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit? This is 77 L Raz, and thank you so much for the super chat. That you're so extremely generous. I really appreciate that. And I apologize, I cannot put your comment on the screen. I'm so sorry. Okay. Holy, you got this is lively, you guys. It's like I love that I'm back. This is so much fun. I missed you guys. um, okay, here we go. Thaddeus, at what point does buying a house in today's market eventually end up being a depreciating asset in the near future? That's why I'm holding off. It really, you know what? In today's market, it depends on where you are. Okay. It also depends on the market that you're in. It doesn't really become a depreciating asset. I mean, if you're going to be renting it out, if it's an investment property, yeah. But I mean, if you're buying it to live in, you're going to be building equity and it does appreciate over the long term. So, again, unless it's, you're buying it as an investment property, that's where you have to worry about it being a depreciating asset. Jim, I think the various housing markets in the US decoupled from each other some time ago, and everything now is hyper local. Yes. Also, he says also inflation has kept house prices high. So in effect, prices have come down, but not in dollars, just in say 2019 dollars. You are right there. I tell people you're never going to see 2019 prices. You're just not. You're going to come down. We're not going back there. I hate to say that. Trying to sell her house in San Francisco East Bay, ironically recommended to try to sell her house at $798,000. So Kristen, how did that work out? I hope that price got you some bids. AJ, going into year 5, looking for a house, only one losing bid 3 years ago. Oh my gosh, that's such a long time. Wow. I'm really sorry to hear that. This is a good question. Why are there hardly any defaults and foreclosures in the past 4 years? Why? Because of the equity that people have in their homes right now. Think about it. When the value shot up, right? Prices went up. Say when the prices shot up, now everybody's home value went up. So if somebody goes into default, they can easily now just sell their home, and now they have all this equity that they're going to be pulling out of that home. So that's why. That's the biggest reason why. I know you're primarily New Jersey. I live there, but want to be in Florida within 2 to 3 years. Well, you can totally make that happen. Um, does this apply to South Jersey? Sorry, just joined. Depending on where in South Jersey you are, the pretty much the whole state is still insane, depending exactly where. North Jersey, anywhere near New York City, and I'm even talking like going as far south as Monmouth County, like the very beginning of the Jersey Shore. Those markets are still pretty insane right now, pretty crazy. South Jersey, yeah, there is. It's still a little. It's crazy. I don't think it's as bad as up in North Jersey where we're seeing the home prices going, 50 to 100,000 over asking price. So it again, like the other person just said before, it's hyper local, right? So it depends exactly where. Oh, that was somebody replying. Okay. Melee, new here, found your channel today. I'm a millennial and cash buyer in LA. It seems like a lot of homes are sitting because unrealistic sellers refusing to drop prices and rather let it sit. Ugh. Well, listen, the longer they sit, they're gonna see it. They're gonna have to come to terms with the fact that the home is overpriced. Now, I will go back to I've said it before. Real estate agents, you got to be doing the right thing by the sellers, and you got to understand too. A lot of realtors in this country, they're struggling right now, and you're probably all just like, oh, well, good, you all like you make too much money anyway. I'm not going to get into that. But sometimes a lot of agents will take listings just to take a listing so they can try to get some type of business. And they'll take the price, they'll go along with the price with whatever the seller wants. Not the best thing to do. A good agent, a 20% agent, quoting my good friend Jen Sylvester, a 20% agent will not take an overpriced listing. I know I will not take an overpriced listing. If I don't agree with somebody's price, I'll walk away from it. And I don't care if it's $1 million sale. If I feel that house is not worth $1 million and you're adamant about it, it's not going to work. It's not. Because if your goal is to sell the house, my job is to help you get there, to help that house get sold. But I'm also going to tell you, you have to sell it according to what the current market dictates. So that's unfortunate that you're seeing this in LA. But look, the longer they sit, this is what I would tell you. Let them sit a little bit longer and then go in and make your offers, you know? Um, yep. Uh let me see. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is a good one. Hello, Ronald. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. What's truly driving the cost of a home? This isn't what the market can bear. What is driving the cost of the home? It's what's driving the prices is the demand. We have such a housing shortage here in the US and too much demand, and that's what's driving the prices up in a lot of markets. Those markets, like I just mentioned, where we have the softening in like Texas, Florida, Arizona, Vegas, those are also markets too where they're building a lot of new construction. So there's excessive inventory. Okay, so now you have more supply, right? And not as many buyers, where there probably are plenty buyers, but there's just too many homes for sale. That's what's causing those prices to come down. But like in markets here in the Northeast, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, even, there's less inventory. We don't have a lot of new construction here. And especially here in New Jersey, there's not a lot of land to build new homes on. So it's all existing homes. So that's what's driving the prices up. It's too many people looking that want to buy. Let me see. Hello, Clark. How are you? I was just talking about you today, Clark. I got to have you on in the next couple of weeks. I'll be texting you tomorrow. Thanks for being here. Andrea, there have been fewer foreclosures nationally because prices were higher than most owners' mortgages, and the market was so fast, so many were able to sell to get out from under a bad financial situation. Thank you, Andrea, for adding to that. Yes, like I said before, people are able to get out. They were able to recoup some money because the value's increased, and there you have it. Okay. Here's your question. I'm so sorry. Okay, now I can put it up here. I'm so sorry. Okay, again, thank you so much for the super chat. I just need you to go if you can elaborate on sorry. Okay. Oh, this is what you said. Okay. Super chat is a description of the property. Sorry for the abbreviations. Okay, not a problem. I appreciate it. Um, totally appreciate you. I so appreciate that super chat. Like it when you guys do that for me, it helps support the channel. And it just I'm not telling you, I'm not asking you to do that. It's totally unexpected and I don't I it just it means the world because it does help support this and helps me to be able to continue to bring you guys all of this information. Um Pavlov's slobbering dogs. Late again, starting from the beginning. Hi, chat and mods. Thanks for being here. Um Rocky and Eddie, I'm in Montgomery County, PA, just browsing online, even considering a condo as I downsize. Yikes. Everything is still so expensive and there is so little out there. It's true. And yeah, that's Pennsylvania. Thanks for bringing that up too. Pennsylvania is still nuts as well. And people are like, who would have thought? Who would have thought Pennsylvania? But Pennsylvania's crazy. Why? Because there's no room left in New Jersey and everybody's going out to Pennsylvania. Oh my gosh. Hello, my friend Bob Curran. How are you? Yes, I'm getting closer to 100K. Oh, it's like right there. It's a slow climb, but I'm getting there. I'm very excited about that. Okay, Kristen, trying to sell her house in San Francisco, done numerous price reductions, 60 days on the market now. Houses are being sold for more than we are selling. Would you recommend take our house off the market? So what I would do if you've reduced the price and it's still not selling, is there anything else going on with the home? Okay, because as we say, the number one thing is the price, right? It's the first thing we're going to look at. Why the house isn't selling? It could be overpriced. Okay, so you've done some price reductions. What feedback have you gotten on the house from potential buyers? So typically when realtors bring buyers to look at your home, they'll give feedback and your agent should be asking for feedback from those buyers. What did they think of the house? What are the negatives? And if there are some negatives, maybe that's something you need to look at. Maybe there's just some things you need to change, or you may have to just bring the price down even more. Let's see. Oh my gosh, this is like you guys are amazing. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be back. Can you tell? Hi, Vibe. Thanks for being here. I recently relocated to Arkansas. What is a good tool or site to use to analyze local markets? If you're looking to buy a house, if you're just relocated there, if you're looking to buy, the typical listen. You can look at Zillow. Zillow is as much as Zillow drives me up a freaking wall with some of the stuff that they do, and there's estimates. I think it's a good tool. Number one, yeah, to look for houses until you can look to see what has sold. I mean, a lot of the buyers that I've had in the past and even currently, they'll go back on Zillow to see what homes have sold for. And if that's what you're interested in seeing, Zillow is still a good tool. Redfin, Realtor.com, all of those are good tools to see what's going on in that market. But the best thing to do is talk to a local real estate agent because they really have all that knowledge, all that information at their fingertips with going on the multiple listing service, and they can get all the data that you need as far as what's going on. Thanks for answering my questions. My sister-in-law is connected to the industry, so I can ask her for help. It's a great idea. I was searching for a home inspector. You are so welcome. I'm going to try and get to most of your comments, guys. I'm in Southern Maine, hoping my kids will someday be able to get properties of their own. Me too. I have adult children, and I will tell you, like I lose sleep some nights thinking about what the future holds for them. I hope to God one day they're able to buy their own place. I really do. Real I'm bored 668? Hope I read that right. I purchased my condo last month, 2 bed, 1 bath. Indianapolis is one of the last few metros at reasonable prices. Congratulations. Yes, Indy is still like one of the last affordable frontiers as far as homes is concerned. Jen Owens, I'm finally under contract after 4 years of planning and saving for my own down payment. Congratulations, Jen. Oh, I love that. Love, love, love. Love hearing that. Oh my God, from South Korea. Jivan, thanks for being here. I know. What time is it over there? Isn't it like, aren't you guys like 12 hours ahead or something like that? I was just in Europe for our vacation. They were 6 hours ahead. I'm still suffering from jet lag. I've been home since like last Wednesday, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm so tired." Um, okay. I've been seeing big slashes in Richmond, Concord, Walnut Creek, really super expensive. Vallejo, Fairfield, more of a market correcting. So that's you're talking about Virginia. Um, yeah, those areas like near DC, they're starting to correct for sure. Um, yep. Okay. So I just wanted to show another article while I'm at it. Okay. So here we go. So Zillow says here the housing market to see first annual US home price drop since 2011. So you see we're going through, then we had Redfin, now we have Zillow. So Zillow projects that the US home prices will fall 0.9% between April 25 and April 26. Now again, it's not 1%, ooh, big deal. But here's the thing. This is nationwide, right? So some markets you're going to see a little bigger price reduction, some you won't, some will remain flat. So, but what the big thing with Zillow was saying the end of last year, right? They said beginning of January, Zillow's 12-month national home price forecast was they're going to see an increase in prices of 2.9%. Now that it's reaching, it said subsequently lowered each month until reaching a decrease of 1.7%. They stopped downgrade. Zillow's finally stopped downgrading its outlook. Given for this forecast to be correct, 2025 will mark the first calendar year home price decline since 2011. So why did Zillow downgrade its forecast for national home prices so many times this year? It's the rise in active listings. Again, go back to that question, somebody said, why are the prices? What's causing the cost of the homes? What's causing the rise in the cost and the prices? Again, low inventory, high demand. But now Zillow is saying because there is more inventory in a lot of these markets, that's what's bringing these prices down. So Zillow thinks strained housing affordability caused by U.S. home prices rising over 40% during the pandemic housing boom and mortgage rates spiking from 3 to 6% in 2022 is weighing on price growth. Affordability is still challenging buyers. A mortgage payment on a typical home in March required about 35.3% of median household income nationwide when using a 20% down payment. Yikes. That's a slight improvement over last year, but still unaffordable. Spending more than 30% of income on housing is considered a financial burden, and 20% down payment is a steep entry fee, coming out to about $72,000 on the typical U.S. home. Now, add on to that 20% down payment, you have your closing cost, and in some cases, I'm not hearing that this is happening a lot, but there is a case you may have to pay for your buyer's agent commission, right? We have that to tack on there too. Now, I haven't heard too much about that of people paying for their buyer's agent. If you know anybody, could you put it in the comments? I want to know about that. So that's another thing that's making it harder to afford a home. It's the entry cost, right? Your down payment, your closing, your buyer agent commission if you had to pay for that. What do we have here? Okay. So Zillow's expecting home price appreciation over the next year. I've talked about this before. I feel like I'm broken record. Still the same thing. These are all areas where they're expecting home price appreciation. Now, Atlantic City, New Jersey, their price appreciation 3.2%. If you live in New Jersey, Atlantic City, you know, I it may be turning around. I don't know 100% about Atlantic City. It's not the most popular area in New Jersey, but I think there's more affordable homes there. And that's why we're seeing those the price increases. Kingston, New York, Torrington, Connecticut, Knoxville, Tennessee, they're all anticipating price appreciations in these markets. Now, if you look at the weakest home price appreciation, it's mostly Louisiana, and we have Texas too. So you see that? Again, this is all now look at this map. This is crazy. You see this? Look at Texas. I mean, Austin, Texas. Year-over-year change. It's down 5.1%. The shift since 2022, their peak, prices are down 22.8%. That's insane. Look at Florida. Can you guys see that? Hold on a minute. Make that a little bit bigger. Look at this in Florida. Look at this year-over-year change. Punta Gorda, Florida. Prices went down 10%. Since 2022, prices have decreased 17.6%. So again, they have a lot more inventory right now. And that's a combination, again, of Florida. People are just moving out because they can't afford it anymore, or they have a lot of new builds going on. Ghost. When did flipping houses overtake living in a home? When did it happen? I mean, it's always happened. People have always got into, buying a home, flipping it to make some money. But the pandemic, it brought out a lot of people, a lot of investors, flippers that they're just looking to make money. And look, that's everybody's right to do that. Buying real estate is still a good investment. And when you had interest rates as low as they were, people were taking advantage of that. So that's why we saw a lot of those home flippers. All right. Let's see. Sage, welcome. Recently got my offer accepted for a house in North Plainfield. Was heading to being in contract until I asked to view the house one more time. Seller's agent then denied my bid. So I think you dodged a bullet, because if they didn't want you to come back to look at the house, why did they not let you in? I don't know. Just saying. Floor, love your channel, great personality. Thank you. Do you see Long Island prices becoming more affordable for homes? From what I know from my referral partners out in Long Island is still crazy. It's like Jersey. Why? Because of New York City. Anywhere near New York City, those prices are just, they're going to continue to remain high and maybe even continue to climb. I mean, here in Jersey, our prices are still appreciating here. So Long Island, I see it's the same thing. And this is from my referral partners, is what they tell me out there. It's as crazy as here as crazy as New Jersey. Aaron, thanks for being here. Enjoy your videos. Learned a lot. I'm so glad. Closed on a home in Cal Bay area late February. The builder is the much maligned D.R. Horton. Been a struggle, but happy this far. I'm really glad. I'm glad you're happy. Now, with these new builds, I'm sure they told you, I think I think they all do this. I mean, I owned a new construction at one point. You have the 1 year mark, right? The 1 year point from when you closed, from the time you closed, where you can go and you point out things that have happened to the house. Like if you see like little settlement cracks, or, anything breaks in the house, anything in the interior that you've noticed has changed or broken or whatever, make sure you follow through on that. Have that 1 year walkthrough from the builder. That's one piece of advice I can give you from owning any new build home, not just D.R. Horton, any new construction. If the builders offer that, take advantage of that. Okay, and document everything. If you see anything that's wrong, document, document, document. Make sure you take pictures, all the things, do all of that. But definitely take advantage if they do offer that 1-year walkthrough, make sure they come back and you show them. Um, Indiana real estate outside of Indianapolis is very cheap. Indy is more expensive because everyone's moving to the north suburbs. All right. Um, wow. It helps to have a producer. Just saying. I miss my producer. Anyway, um, okay. Oh, awesome, Sage. Thank you so much. Um, thank you so much for the super chat. So listen, it, I know it's the same comment. Headings being under contract till the end. Okay. If they're denying your bid, don't move on. Move on. If they don't, I would listen as a listing agent. I understand. And people are just like, "Oh, you work with I only work with buyers." I work with both sides. I work with sellers and buyers. I understand, especially in a market here in New Jersey. People are they feel like they're under the gun to make a decision. And you're making a decision, you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a home that you're going to be living in. I understand if you need to come back in and look at it again, I'd rather you come back and look at it again to make sure you want to proceed with the sale. Okay. We don't want to waste time because this is what happens with the sellers, and I understand the seller's position too. They don't want to waste any time. And if you're gonna like say if okay, you see the house once, say at an open house, you're like, you know what, I love it. We're gonna buy it. We put an offer on it, you get it accepted, and then it's gonna be like say a week or so before you have your home inspection, and you go in your home inspection, and you're like, oh, you know what? I made a big mistake, and you want to back out of it. So now the seller just lost time, a time on the market. Because then if you decide at the inspection, you know what, I don't want this house, that's really not a good thing. But if you went back in, say right after you got your offer accepted, so I'm assuming you were starting the attorney review process and you wanted to go back in and look at the house, not knocking agents here, but if that was me as the listing agent, I would have encouraged my sellers to allow it, which I do, and I do that anyway. Like, look, let them come back and look at it again. They want to make sure. There's so much pressure to make the offer and getting it accepted and all that stuff. So if you want to look at it again, look at it again. So the fact that the sellers are denying that, I don't move on. Move on. There'll be another one for you. Okay, bear with me. Okay. Have you seen much new construction going up here? All the Indiana farmland near large cities are being sold to builders. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And the reason, I'll tell you why. So here in Jersey, we do have farmland, but I think a lot of it is protected. But we don't have a lot of land here to build on. But that bothers me to hear this, that the farmland is being sold to builders. We need our farms. We do. And I understand we need homes. And you're all like, oh my God, here she is, she's contradicting herself. I'm not. I understand we need homes, but just taking away the farmland, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I see that a lot in Delaware. You all know I have property. I own property in Delaware near the beaches. And every time I go down there, there's more communities being built. Where? On farmlands. And Delaware has a ton of farms. It's beautiful down there. People are like, are you kidding me? Delaware? No, I'm serious. Delaware is a beautiful state. And I love driving past all those beautiful farms. But a lot of them are being bought up. They're being bought up by the builders and just they're building house after house after house. Wow. Okay. With the president being the president and being a real estate mogul, do you think he will let the real estate market collapse? I don't like to get political. I don't. I don't think anybody. what side of the aisle you're on. I would hope, like you would hope that they don't want that to collapse, because that's on their watch. It's not going to make them look very good if the housing market collapses, right? So I'm hoping, I mean, I know he's talking about he wants to make homes affordable. He wants to build more homes. He wants to make it, cut a lot of the red tape with the builders to allow them to be able to build more homes. I don't know. I don't see, that's dumb if they would let the housing market collapse because it's going to, no matter what party it is, it's just, that doesn't look good if that happens on their watch. Just saying. Um, okay. So let me see here. Um, oh my gosh, there's so many questions here. I love it, love it, love it. Okay. Golden State Contributor. I live in Los Angeles. I'm currently investing in property in Texas, not buying anything in California at the moment. So are you looking, I'm curious, you investing, are you gonna buy like you investing like a rental property? Because I'm all for that too. Listen, there's nothing wrong with owning a home to rent out. There's nothing wrong with being a private investor, not like these private equity, but like, the average person like myself. I own an investment property myself right now. I own two at one time and down to one right now, but there's nothing wrong with that. Um, so our realtor said that there was a lawsuit that occurred within the last year regarding bad feedback. So we are not getting any feedback, even any good about our house we are selling. Oh, I know what you're talking about, Kristen. Okay. Kristen, you said you were in California, correct? I remember reading about that. Um, yeah, oh my God, that's hard. See, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So I had to pull up that lawsuit. I don't have time to pull it up right now, I'm sorry. But, what she's talking about, there was a lawsuit was filed. A seller said that his house would have sold for more money or something like that, but because of the feedback they got, or maybe the buyer sued or something like that. It was a lawsuit from the buyer saying that that they were, like, blacklisted, I guess, because of the feedback that they offered on the house, and that's yeah. Okay. We're getting too litigious with this stuff. I just Your realtor can't call and ask to get the feedback because what that was, it's through showing time. So there's an app that we use where we put where you schedule your showings, right? The real estate agent will go and schedule the showing to go preview the home. And then what happens after the fact, showing time sends a message to the real estate agent asking for feedback on the house. And they put it in writing and they'll say like, and you rate, it'll ask you questions, did you think what did you think of the price of the home? Was it just right? Was it overpriced? And then it'll ask for comments. So, yeah, Kristen, I know what you're referring to. I have to pull that up, that lawsuit. Yeah. Do you frequently read or talk about Midwestern markets? People really sleep on the value of places like Indiana, Kansas. So I do read about it occasionally with the Midwest markets. It's still one of the more affordable places. The only thing is, it's just I think people, it's all it's jobs too, right? People have to be able to find work. Unless they're working remotely, they would be able to move out into those states and be able to afford a home there. But it comes down to working because now a lot of companies are asking people to come back into the office in person. The remote thing is going away. Um, let's see here. Zillow is the least trustable company to take data from. They inflate home prices, and their estimate is poo poo. They don't. I don't know what you mean by inflating home prices. The data you see on Zillow, the information you see on Zillow of homes that are for sale, that's coming directly off of multiple listing service. All right, there's a data feed that comes from multiple listing services fed to Zillow, so people are able to see the homes that are for sale. Zestimates They're a big poo-poo, I agree with you. Estimates are total crap. Um, they're not accurate at all. Maybe they now some will argue and say estimates have gotten better. Maybe a little bit, not much. And the reason why I say that is because I had a listing last year, and I was talking to the seller on a listing appointment, and he was convinced. He's like, "Well, Zillow is saying this. This is how much my house is worth." But when you dive a little deeper, when you look at those estimates, it'll say this value is based on homes, um, homes for sale in your area. Now, when I looked at that, the homes that they were comparing this person's home to were not even in my town. They weren't even in the same town. So I was like, this is way off because they're pulling data from towns like 2 towns away, 1 town away. Like this, it's not our local market. It wasn't here in this town. So that's why that estimate was not accurate at all. So I agree with you. Those estimates are complete crap. And the other thing you gotta think about too, Zillow does not know what you've done to your house inside, like any updates that you've done. All right, it's pulling data from public records. It's looking at what has sold. So say if you have a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house, it's gonna say, okay, this 4-bedroom, 2-bath house sold for this amount of money. But if your house is more updated, obviously it's gonna be worth more. It will sell for more. So that's another thing you have to take into consideration. Um, oh my God, living our lives. Where have you been? Long time no see. Market is crashing nationwide. Different areas of different states are simply in different phases, in my opinion. Yeah, they are. They are. I don't agree it's crashing. I think we're correcting. We are correcting for sure. Um, crash, we're talking, 20-30% decline in prices. And we're not there. Not there yet. Maybe. Um, Ghost says Zillow copies its estimate figures from the latest listing prices, kind of like a dog chasing its tail. I like that analogy. That's a good one. MH, I've seen some affordable rents up there, but nothing affordable in the Seattle area. Some decent prices in Whatcom. Okay. Oh, we got another win here. Frank just closed on a sale and a purchase last week. Went from suburbs to waterfront New Jersey, both over asking, both under 10 days on market. Still nuts. Well, congrats that you closed in waterfront New Jersey. Good for you. Um, let's see. Uh, 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 okay. Oh my gosh, thank you for another super chat. I want this $90,000 house that needs repair and it's cash only. I know it sounds silly. I'm curious if there's a way to finance it like a hard money loan. I only have 20% total cost, potential solutions. If it's cash only, you could do a hard money loan, but I would just be very careful with those hard money loans. I have worked with investors that use those hard money loans. The interest rates are outrageous on those. Um, I can't give you any more solutions than that. I really can't, and I'm not in. I'm I can't speak to that. But if you're going to do a hard money loan, just be very, very careful. That's all I can say on that one. Usually, the big time investors, the builders, private builders will do hard money loans. Um, I don't recommend that really for people who just want to buy a house to live in. Um, Dear Horton, follow all of Jackie's warranty suggestions. Thank you. Thank you, Ghost. Yes, please do. We visited some open houses and some of the shower floor grout in these homes were not taken care of. Can a buyer ask for restoration? Is this a reason why listings don't show inside the shower? Not really. I'm going to be honest with you. A seller is probably going to tell you, go take a hike when it comes to that. They're selling the home as is, and something like grout, they're they're really not going to care. If there's something major wrong with the house, then yeah, they'll consider it. Like depending on the market you're in, I'm not sure where you are. But if you're in one of the markets that is softening right now, you might be able to ask for that or ask for a credit for it. But in the markets that were still hot, you probably won't be able to get that. I'm just being honest with you. A lot of sellers are going to be like, you know what, you deal with it, and they'll only address the major problems. All right. AJ, we are in Southwest PA, want to buy a house and retire. 5 years of searching, still no house. We were budgeted 240K by my CFP in 2020 for retirement. That house today, if we can find, is now $400,000. Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Okay. Krasimir, I hope I'm saying your name right. Inventory is going up real fast in North Carolina, seeing the institutional buyers selling quietly. That's interesting. But I've been hearing that too. The Carolinas are definitely they're softening as well. Again, I think the Carolinas were overvalued markets too. Everybody flocked, especially from up here in the Northeast. Everybody flocked to the Carolinas. When I say everybody went to all like the warmer climates, but the Carolinas in particular. Clark says, I would never advise sellers to deny a showing. However, some sellers do, but it is better to always have all eyes on it to get the best buyer for it. Yes, Clark. Thank you. Yeah. If you're selling, don't deny. Like the gentleman before said he was denied to go back in. He put a bid and lost it because he wanted to go look at the house again. Don't do that. Just don't. I don't advise that at all. I was wondering if it ever happens that people talk to neighbors before buying a condo to see how they like living in the community. Yeah, absolutely you can. You can totally do that. I've had buyers do it all the time. Yeah, one of my buyers, one of my favorite clients, we were looking at a house and the neighbors were outside. And he just went over and started talking to them to want to get more information about the neighborhood. And you know what? It was fine. You can totally do that. All right. Hubby and I lucky to sell our Florida home last year. We moved to North Carolina, but homes are out of our price range. Now we're under contract for new home build in South Carolina. Love the area and cheaper. Congratulations. Good for you. Good for you. I'm glad you found the right home. Sometimes we all have things stuck in our something stuck in our head, like, oh, we're going to move here and I want to live here. And then you end up finding something better and even for less money, which is a huge win. Let's see. Ghost, what do you got here? Conservation easements. My grand uncle purchased thousands of acres in both New Jersey and Colorado to place into conservation easements. His goal was to block as much development as possible. Wow. Oh my gosh. Clark says, the builders keep buying up land to build unaffordable housing for the younger generation. They need to create more incentives for builders to build affordable housing for future generations. Preach, Clark, preach it. I don't understand the draw of these McMansions that, you remember that we call them McMansions? They were built back in the 90s. Why? Why do we don't need that space anymore? It's crazy. Okay. Oh, got another super chat. Engines Vertical Line. Thank you so much for the super chat. You guys, this is incredible tonight. Trying to buy a 2+ acre home in Southern Berks County, PA, close to the turnpike. Some going over, some under. Send buying karma, brutal out there. I am sending you all the good vibes, all the good real estate vibes that you're going to get that. You're going to get the house, and check back with me. I want to know when you get that house. All right. What else? This is just awesome. Awesome. Someday, if you get this far in the comments, you have 460 viewers at this time flying solo. Nice job. Thank you. I'm at almost 500. I just hit 500 before. This is the largest audience I've had ever since I've started live streaming years ago. So this is, oh, it's so good to be back. It's so good to be back. I love doing this. Speaking of industry jobs, research what's going on in New Albany, Ohio. Industry is wiping out homes and towns per se. What's my opinion about the Ohio market? Love your channel. Thank you so much. I don't know, I don't know the Ohio market that well. I do know it was booming for a while there because of the affordability. I know a couple of years ago, it was ranked as one of those markets that was going to see a big home appreciation. So yeah, but what you're telling me here, industry wiping out homes, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's not good. That is not good. In New Jersey, there seems to be a little bit of a slowdown. Even the hot towns, there's been some houses I'd expect to sell quickly that are lingering around. Yeah, like I said before, here in my town where I live, I'm like, there's a couple of houses I thought would be gone like that, and they're still sitting. So, but again, it could be, yeah, people are pulling back, but it could also be we're coming into the summer months, and and things typically slow down. But there's also houses that are flying off the market still faster than ever. Yeah. Like I said, like the listing we just had recently, like 9 offers in 3 days, over asking, of course. And yeah. Yep. So, oh, thank you again for the super chat. YouTube didn't allow me to mention the president by name. Shake my head. That's interesting. I don't know. What are your thoughts on homes with asbestos siding? Would you offer less than asking because of it? Yeah, I would. But you gotta have that properly checked out too. You want to see what is it going to cost to remove all of that. It's not going to be cheap. You want to see how much that's going to cost you. But yeah, for sure. All right. Oh my goodness, you guys. This is just awesome. Okay, here we go. Hello, Kim Halverson, lovely Ben Holmes. What do you say to the locals who hate the California buyers moving in? Are these buyers really driving up the prices, or is it other factors? So, okay. I'm speaking from my experience living in New Jersey when the pandemic happened. I think all of New York City moved out to Bergen County and Passaic and Morris counties when the pandemic happened, and people were blaming them. People were blaming the New York buyers, but you can't, because again, if you don't have the homes, if there's not enough homes to meet the buyer demand, it could be somebody from California, or it could be just somebody living in your area that's a move up buyer. I mean, like here in Jersey, we have a ton of millennials that are renting in the Jersey City, Weehawken, and Hoboken area. That were, they want to live, they want to stay in Jersey, they want to get their kids into good schools. So we had that huge population on top of the New Yorkers that moved in. Now that's died down quite a bit, but what do you say to the locals? I mean, what do you say? What do you say? You can't, I mean, you just can't blame one group of people. Okay. So in your market out there, if it's like here in Jersey, if it's still low inventory and you have just people that live out in Oregon that want to buy, that have been there, and they feel like, and I get it, they probably feel like they're getting outbid by the Californians, just like people here in Jersey were getting outbid by New Yorkers. What do you say to them? I mean, what do you say? You can't prevent them from moving there. You can't. I know it sucks. It totally sucks. Anyway, let me see here. NPAD says 10-year, 30-year rate is taking off, so mortgages are probably headed to 8%, in my opinion. It's going to be a rough macro environment for buying a house for most young millennials. I hope it doesn't go to 8%. That would not be good. That would not be good. Dawn says, you can't convince my husband to sell when we have a 2.65% rate. Been here 23 years and hoping to move eventually once he retires. I yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna be able to convince convince your husband to give up that rate. Oh my gosh. Bradley, I heard you say townhouses are a great buy. Should I buy a townhouse now or wait till 26? I'm taking care of my father. I have time and money to buy or wait. As I say every time somebody asks me, should you buy or wait? It's all dependent on your situation, on your personal situation, your life situation, your financial situation. If you have the means and the time is right for you, then it's the time is then you buy. Okay? Or if you need to sell, the same thing applies to that, right? All comes down to your life situation and your financials. All right, we're gonna go through a couple of more questions. This has been amazing tonight. Oh my God, I'm back. I'm gone for 2 weeks, and you guys are still here. You guys still showed up for me. I appreciate it. Christiana, what are your thoughts on buying a home on a private, deteriorated street compared to public streets? Apparently, homeowners pay less in taxes, but what a pain driving it. Central Massachusetts. Well, that's up to you if you want to tolerate that. But the first thing I'm gonna say to you is think about the resale. If if you're turned off by that location, you're not a fan of it, and you don't think it's a great location, other buyers are gonna think the same thing down the road when you go to sell it. But if you don't care about that and you like the house and the location overall, say it's like close to your work, close to schools, what have you, if that works for you, then that's fine. But again, always think about the future too. Think about the resale, how that'll impact the resale. Um, what's the difference between crash and correction? Asking from North Houston, Texas. Sellers are listing houses at last year's prices and sitting. So crash, it's a price decrease of around 30%, 25, 30%. Correction, it's a smaller decrease in prices, right? So correction, see like 5%, 7%. So what you're seeing in Houston, this is what they were talking about in the article before. People are still listing their homes at last year's prices, hoping to recoup what they paid. It said that a lot of these sellers are people who bought in 2021 and 22 and now want out. They want to sell their house. So we're in a different market now. So the longer those homes sit, now those sellers are going to be chasing the market. They're now going to have to do price reductions. They just are. That's just how it is. Look, I've been trying to sell. I have a condo down in Delaware Beaches. It's been on the market almost 2 months. I mean, a few years ago that would have sold within like a couple of weeks. It's why? Because there's so much inventory down there right now. There's a lot of new builds. That's what I'm competing against. So, I don't know what I'm gonna do honestly right now. I mean, I definitely feel I have to reduce the price, but I don't know, we shall see. I have to talk to my real estate agent about that. I have to come up with a strategy. Mrs. H, great that you're back. Always good info. Thank you so much, Mrs. H. I'm so glad you were here. So guys, you guys are amazing. Get that off here. So it's been an hour and 23 minutes, and I've had about 500 of you here watching me, and I so appreciate it. So let me, I just want to remind you all, if you do need to get connected to a real estate agent, whether you're selling or buying a home, I'm happy to connect you. There's a link down in that description box. This is what you're going to find. You're going to find my website here, my landing page. You're going to click on this. It's going to bring you to a form. You're going to fill that out. And then you're going to get asked another questionnaire that'll come to you via email. Be sure to look out for that. And then you fill out that questionnaire. And I know it's annoying. People have complained to me about it, but it helps me gather as much information as possible in order for me to help find the right agent for you. So the more information you give me, the better. So if you need an agent, please fill out both forms that are on that link that you fill out, that you go to. Okay. So, oh my gosh, you guys, this has been amazing. It's so good to be back. I'm so excited. So thank you all for being here, and tune in for next week. I will be back next week. I'll start bringing guests back on again. And again, I've missed you all. Really appreciate you all being here. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. And I hope you had a great Memorial Day. See you all next time.